Can we go back to your 2006 draft and look at nationalities and to think how successful that draft was, and maybe you guys have followed a similar path here without a single Canadian, I guess, drafted this afternoon and last night?
Yeah, it's, year to year it's always funny how it goes. I think it seems the last few years we've really taken a lot of kids from Ontario especially, so this year it's just the way our list fell and the types of players that presented themselves to us. But you know what, we're happy with what we got, and we'll look forward to seeing them at development camp.
Beyond Tommy Bergman, what sold you on your opening pick, and might it have been the under-18 performance?
Well, I would call that the icing on the cake. We've been watching him for a couple of years, and I think you can't ignore the type of skill that this young guy has, and there's just so much upside and potential first line upside. I just think it's really hard to ignore. We really like to, his ability to skate, his ability to handle the puck and think at a high pace. It's really going to help him as he moves forward in his career. So, no, we were really excited to get him at 8, to be honest with you.
Rinat Valiev, the way his coach Ryan McGill described him, brought back memories of Dmitry Yushkevich, another Russian two-way player. I'm not sure there are any similarities, but what did you like about his play at Kootenay?
Well, he can be gritty when he has to be. He's a really intelligent defenseman. He skates well. He's got good size. He's really grown in the last couple of years. And I just like the fact that he came over here and he really wants to play over here. And I think what he did with Kootenay, especially in the playoffs this year where they upset Calgary in the first round, there's some other real good players on that team, but they were an underdog, and he went in and they lost a defenseman early to an injury, and they ran with 3 or 4 defensemen, and he was exceptional. And we had really liked him all along anyways all season, and we saw that and we thought, this is another guy with a big heart and all the intangibles we look for in a player.
Did he need that time to sort of get adjusted to North America? Is that why he was he didn't get picked last year? He was just a little bit late developing that way?
Well, you know what? Last year was a funny year for him. He came over late, started in Indiana, because he didn't get drafted in the CHL. He really wanted to play in the CHL, but that didn't happen. So he came over and played in Indiana, and then in February he went to play in the Four Nations tournament, and he hurt his knee. And he didn't come back, and there was all sorts of rumors and all these different things that he didn't want to play in Indiana and all the rest of it. Well, the fact was he'd hurt himself, and he couldn't play, so he just stayed at home. And so then what he originally wanted to do was play in the CHL. He did get drafted by Kootenay, and he came over and played on the same day he arrived because he was late getting his visa, and they had a game that night in Red Deer, and they said, no, you don't have to play. He said, no, I want to play. So, that, to me, it's another thing that just tells you about the kid. Like, he was so eager to get in the lineup. So
his coach in junior said that he really noticed him take off in somewhere around January. Is that what you and your staff saw too, that from January on he was an even different player than he had been earlier?
Yeah, certainly the last half in the playoffs, he took his game to another level. I will say he was on our radar going back to the 12 Ivan Hlinka. If you go back to then, we really liked what we saw at that time. And so we were actually following him in his original draft year. And, things went south, and we didn't have all the information. We weren't satisfied, and that's why, because we had him on our list last year, but we weren't satisfied with what was going on. So when this year started and he ended up in Kootenay, we got on him pretty quick. And Roy Stasiak, who's our West scout, was their head scout for a long time, actually, even when they won the Memorial Cup. And so Roy has a real strong relationship with them. So we were following him pretty closely early on.
Because he's 19, does that help him fast track a little bit towards the pros, or is he? I mean, where is he in that? How far away is he?
Well, I don't think, it depends on the strength. A lot of times at that age, he's intelligent enough. I think he skates well enough. He's big enough, or at least tall enough. But it's just more the strength thing that, how strong is he going to be in a year? And, we could qualify him after this year, and he